सुसेगाद दंपार पडोवणाऱ्यांक म्हजो मायमोगाचो नमस्कार. हांव फ्रँकी फर्नांडीस, मेलबर्न, ऑस्ट्रेलियाच्यान तुमकां ह्यो गोंयच्यो आनी भायल्या देशांत रावतल्या गोंयकारांच्यो खबरो कोंकणींतल्यान पावयतां. आज सप्टेंबराची 13 तारीख. सुरवातेक खबर. गोंयकारांचे मागणे. मदय खोतिगांव ह्या वाठारांत टायगर रिझर्व स्थापन करचे हे बाबतींत एक खुशालकायेची खबर आनी गोंय सरकाराक एक मोठो धक्को बसलो. जुलायच्या 2023 वर्साक गोवा बेंच ऑफ द बॉम्बे हायकोर्ट हाणें गोंय सरकाराक आदेश दिल्लो की 3 म्हयन्यां भितर मदय खोतिगांव ह्या वाठारांत टायगर रिझर्व स्थापन करचें म्हूण. त्रासान सापडलेल्या गोंय सरकारान हाचे उपरांत ही ऑर्डर सुप्रीम कोर्टान चॅलेंज केली आनी गेल्ल्या सुमारांत सुप्रीम कोर्टान आदेश दिलो की ह्या वाठारांत कांयच इको ट्युरिझम प्रोजेक्ट गोंय सरकारान अप्रूव्ह करचे न्हय म्हूण. आपल्या आदेशाचे प्रमाणे सुप्रीम कोर्टान सांगलें, द टायगर पेरिशेस विदाउट द फॉरेस्ट एंड द फॉरेस्ट पेरिशेस विदाउट इट्स टायगर. Therefore, the tiger should stand guard over the forest and the forest should protect all its tigers. This is how importance of the tiger in the ecosystem has been clearly described in Mahabharata. ह्या आदेशाच्या प्रमाणे गोंय सरकाराचे कसलो परिणाम जातलो आमकां गोवा फावंडेशनाचो मुखेली एडवोकेट पद्मश्री नॉर्मा आल्वारेस सांगता.
What are the consequences of this order? Very, very important. The state government will not be allowed to introduce any projects in these areas which have been identified and demarcated for a tiger reserve. Already the state government had proposed two projects, one in Surla, which is in the core area of the tiger reserve, and one in Kolem. These projects were intending to have wealthy people, affluent people who want to have a taste of wildlife to come into the wildlife sanctuary area, reside over there, and what is worse, the project was to have an electric fence around the project area to keep off the wild animals. It's like going into somebody's home and identifying a core area where the residents of the home are not allowed to enter. After all, the wildlife sanctuaries are for the animals. So how do you throw a cordon around it and say that the tigers will not attack the people who come, the tourists who come to stay in those areas? Other than that, nothing much is likely to happen. The state government has been prohibited from executing these projects and introducing any new ones, which means that there is a respite for the animals in the wildlife sanctuary area. And this is not a temporary stay order, status quo order. This is an order which will continue until the Supreme Court hears the matter in November. So the Goa Foundation, petitioner in the High Court and respondent in the Supreme Court in the state government's appeal, is delighted with the order. It's all that we hoped for since the last 2 years that the matter has been that the matter is before the Supreme Court. There was no status quo order, so this is what we wanted, and we are extremely happy with the order. The Supreme Court order is a great win for the people of Goa, because mostly, in fact, if not all people do want a tiger reserve in Goa. Why is that? Many of us may never see a tiger in our lifetime, but the presence of a tiger is an indicator that all is well with the ecosystem. That is why the tiger is known as an umbrella species, an apex species, a pivotal species, because with the presence of the tiger, it means that all is well with the health of the state. After the National Tiger Conservation Authority had issued its recommendation under the Wildlife Protection Act to the state government to identify and demarcate the area for a tiger reserve, the Forest Department had acted with alacrity. Orders were issued to the forest officials to identify the area, excluding human habitations, which means that the 745.18 square kilometers covering the 4 wildlife sanctuaries Mhadei, Netravali, Bhagwan Mahavir, and Khotigao, these areas, which are the tiger reserve areas, did not have major human habitations in them. Perhaps a few which needed to be relocated. But it is totally incorrect what was told in the Supreme Court by the Council for the State that 15,000 families would have to be relocated. This is absolutely incorrect. But in the face of contrary information that the Supreme Court was getting, the Supreme Court decided to direct the Central Empowered Committee to examine this issue because the National Tiger Conservation Authority and the Ministry of Environment had filed their affidavit saying that it was extremely important that Goa be declared as a tiger reserve. After all, presently, there are 5 tigers in Goa. Resident, not tourist as the government would like to have us believe. They are resident population. And if we add the 4 that were killed in January 2020, it means there are 9 tigers who have made Goa their home, which is a matter of privilege for us. Now, the Supreme Court has been given 6 weeks to examine the issue of the tiger reserve. The areas for the tiger reserve are already on record with the Forest Department. The Central Empowered Committee will probably call for them. They will hear the state government. They will hear the petitioners. Why is the state government so opposed to a tiger reserve? In the High Court, they had said that it is not that they were opposed, but that they wanted time to resettle the forest dwellers. Now, note that these areas, 2 of the wildlife sanctuaries, have been notified as far back as 1967. It's 50 years that the wildlife sanctuary is notified, and the other 2 were notified in 1999 2000. So how much more time does the state government need? In 1998, the Supreme Court had directed the state government to resettle the forest dwellers, their rights, and so on within 1 year. That is why it is important that this issue of forest dwellers' rights need not be bandied about in order to notify the area as a tiger reserve.
तर ह्यो जावन आसले आमचे सुसेगाद दनपार गोंयकारांच्यो खबरो कोंकणींतल्यान मेलबर्न ऑस्ट्रेलियासून. मेळुया दुसऱ्या सोमानात ते मेरेन मोग आसूं दी.